It is Wednesday, April 3rd, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modi, and I have 4 NBA player props for you guys to lock in for today's NBA betting slate. We had a nice bounce back day yesterday with our NBA plays specifically. Still trying to figure out baseball, but NBA was pretty good yesterday. 3-1 on our main line of props that I gave out on this YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I had a late add of 2 ladder plays, which was stupid. Shouldn't have done it. Neither of them cashed, so we were down 1 unit specifically on ladder plays, 0-2 there. But 3-1 on mainline plays, up 2.34 units on those. So if you just tailed the mainline plays, you were happy. And we still had a green day overall. The only play we missed was Luka Doncic over 2.5 first quarter assists. He ended the game with a triple-double, so he had 10. He only had 1 in the first quarter. That was a bummer. But the other 3 plays cashed, including 2 plus money bangers, and Dante DiVincenzo hitting 5 3-pointers, and Jalen Brunson getting 7 or more assists. As for the entire season, it's been an incredible season, a remarkable season that we are on. At the end of the year, I'll do a full recap by month and stuff like that. Really dive into how much I can with these stats. But up 90.47 units on the entire season on our mainline plays. Ladder plays have been a little bit colder. I just started tracking those on February 24th. We started really hot on ladder plays, but we are admittedly slumping there. But pretty confident that we're going to be able to turn ladder plays around specifically. That's just kind of how long shot props go. But hey, up 90 units on the year, very, very good. So if you are not already, if you are new, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel and then like and comment this video specifically. Enough of that. Let's get into today's bangers. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is in the Thunder versus Celtics game, and I'm taking Derrick White over 2.5 first quarter points, minus 135 odds at ESPN Bet. Now, yes, I do not love the minus 135 odds, but I think getting this price at 2.5 for points is an absolute smash play. A really, really good spot for Derrick White. He's hit, I should say, 3 or more points in the first quarter in 8 of his last 10 games. In the 2 games that he missed, and one of them, he played half the quarter. That's an outlier. Normally, he plays at least 9 minutes in the first quarter. And the other game that he missed was against the Pelicans. Tough matchup for guards specifically. And Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis both went off in the first quarter of that game. Now, as for tonight, Jaylen Brown is listed as questionable. He might not play. If he does, I would still like this play. If he doesn't, I think it would be an even bigger smash play. Jaylen Brown missed last game, and Derrick White had 5 points in the first quarter. And if he gets ruled out, if Jaylen Brown gets ruled out, I would almost guarantee that the price on this is going to go up. Like, you are not going to get this at 2.5 if Jaylen Brown is confirmed out. This is going to go up to 3.5 or even 4.5. And again, even if Jaylen Brown plays, I would be in on this play at this current price. I don't think it's going to go down from here. I think we're going to get the best price, even if Jaylen Brown is ruled in. Derrick White has cashed this in 6 of the last 8 games, specifically when he has played with Jaylen Brown. And the 2 games that he missed were the same 2 games that I mentioned above. Played half the first quarter in one of them. The other one, Porzingis and Brown, both went off in the first quarter. Now, that could happen again, but that's unlikely to happen again to the same extent. And in terms of the matchup, yeah, the Thunder are a good defense, but they gave up the 8th most points, according to Courtside Pal, to Derrick White's shooting profile. So it's not a complete stay away type of matchup. And the 3, like, he might make the first 3-pointer of the game, and he would immediately cash this for us. He could also just hit 2 layups and cash it for us as well. I think this is a really, really good play as our first one. Next up, Magic versus Pelicans game. I'm taking Jayson Suggs over 1.5 made 3-pointers, minus 135 odds at BetMGM. Another play here. I admittedly don't love the odds. I normally don't play anything up to minus 135, but I just think this is such a good place. I was shocked that this line was even offered at 1.5. I thought this was going to be priced at 2.5. It was not, but I absolutely love it. The way the Pelicans play defense is perfect for Jayson Suggs to make a bunch of 3-pointers, right? He's turned himself into a pretty good shooter over the course of his career, and he can hit shots when he's left wide open. And he's been shooting well recently. He's made 2 or more 3-pointers in 8 of his last 10 games. That includes a game against these Pelicans in which he hit 3 on 8 attempts. I would love that exact same type of game tonight. The reason why this is such a good matchup is because of how the Pelicans play defense. They will leave players wide open from 3. Whether they respect your shot or not, they're going to leave you wide open. On the entire season, they lead the NBA in frequency of 3-pointers that are considered wide open, defined by NBA.com as 6+ feet of space. 24% of 3-pointers against the Pelicans are considered wide open. And over the past 10 games, that number's just gone up. 24.6% of three-pointers against the Pelicans are considered wide open. That's the second most in the NBA, specifically in the last 10 games. Last game, Devin Booker took 16 three-pointers. Kevin Durant took 11. And those are guys that you obviously need to look out for. And they still combined for 27 three-point attempts against the Pelicans. That's silly, but it just shows you that they will leave the three-point line open, even against players that you respect. Now, as for Suggs, again, I mentioned he's turned himself into a good shooter, but he's not a player that defenses really take into account, right? Like, he both takes and makes the most wide open three-pointers on the Magic over the past 10 games and on the season as well. And he shoots over 51% on those attempts as well. He's not a movement shooter, not someone that you run off screens, but he can stand there and shoot when he's wide open and shoot at a pretty high clip. So I love this play for Jalen Suggs. I'm going to go ahead and ladder him to 3+ made at three-pointers as well, plus 200 odds for a half unit on that bad boy. That's our second play. Third up, our third pick of the evening in the Pacers versus Nets game, taking Cam Thomas over 5.5 first quarter points, plus 100 odds at FanDuel. So I was on Cam Thomas points on Monday. It's one of the plays that we had that lost. That was a bummer. The Nets got completely blown out, and he scored 22 points in 29 minutes. It's such a good matchup for Cam Thomas that I'm going to go back to him once again, but I'm just going to go ahead and stick to the first quarter. I do think that he will cash his mainline full game prop as well, but in the off chance that this game turns into another blowout, I think it makes more sense to just ride with him in the first quarter specifically. He scored 12 points in the first quarter against the Pacers last game, and then he only scored 10 the rest of the way. And after doing research on this, what I've learned about Cam Thomas is if the matchup is good, and it's absolutely good in this matchup, he will get to cooking early. He's not one that will wait to start cooking. He'll cook as soon as the game starts. He cashed the last game with 12 points, as I mentioned. A couple games ago, he had 17 points in the first quarter against the Wizards. He cashed this against the Bucks, against the Spurs, against the Hornets. All good matchups where you want to take your shooting guard props. And he also plays between 8 and 10 minutes in the first quarter as well. He doesn't play the full 12, which I would like, but as long as he gets that 8 number, I think we'll be pretty good. And as I mentioned, it's just such a good matchup against the Pacers. On the entire season, the Pacers are giving up the most points per game, both to isolation scorers and to pick and roll ball handlers as well. On the entire season, and for whatever reason, NBA.com won't let you filter by a specific date for this type of tracking data, but even on the entire season, Cam Thomas leads the Nets both in ISO, points via ISO, I should say, and points as the main pick and roll ball handler as well. That includes the middle portion of the season when Cam Thomas was kind of in and out of the lineup, wasn't playing a ton of minutes. And one thing that's in common with ISO and pick and roll ball handler scores, a lot of times it's points coming via drives. And this is something that you can dive into. Cam Thomas has scored not only the most points via drives on the Nets in the past 10 games, he's actually scoring the 4th most points per game via drives in the entire NBA. And those minutes concerns, no longer a concern. He's averaging 36.8 minutes per game over the last 10 games. That includes the last game in which he only played at 29. So he should play at least 8 to 10 minutes in the first quarter in this one. And driving to the hoop is exactly how you want to score on the Pacers. So I'm more than comfortable going back to him once again tonight. Hopefully he doesn't burn us 2 days in a row. Last up, our fourth and final pick of the video, Pistons versus Hawks, taking Cade Cunningham, 8+ assists, plus 120 odds at Fanatics. This is admittedly a pretty gross game. Betting the Pistons games are never fun, but hey, Cade has been playing pretty well recently. Not something that you really care about because the Pistons are terrible, but he's cashed 8 or more assists in 6 of his last 10 games. And this is a nice opportunity for us to fade recent results as well. There was the beginning stretch of this 10-game sample size where he cashed in 5 of 6. Then after that, he missed it in 3 straight games before cashing it last game with 8 assists. The Pistons, they just don't have any point guards left to play a playmaking duty on the team. Simone Fontecchio is out. All-Star Thompson, he's not listed as a point guard technically, but he's a very good passer. He's out. And then for this specific game, Marcus Sasser is listed as questionable. Now, Cade is listed as questionable as well, but if he gets ruled out, we just get this play refunded, no harm, no foul there. And if Sasser is ruled in, I would still like the play. And if he's ruled out, this is an even better play for Cade Cunningham. And this is another great matchup that we are targeting here. One thing that I love to do, target individual matchups. The Hawks, they're giving up the most assists per game to Cade's playmaking style. That's according to Courtside Pal. Yeah, he missed this the last time these two teams played, but the first time they played, Cade had 12 assists on, more importantly, on 22 potential assists. I love those type of potentials. And the good news here is that Jalen Duren is back for the Pistons. He's a great pick and roll partner with Cade Cunningham for the Pistons. Now, the Hawks defense, they're not the worst in the NBA at guarding pick and roll men, but they are among the bottom 5. And on the year, Cade runs the 3rd most pick and roll possessions as the main ball handler in the entire NBA. He's also, Cade is 2nd on the team in terms of assists while driving, like driving to the paint. And Marcus Sasser is the only guy ahead of him. So if he gets ruled out, again, that would be very helpful for Cade. And I think this could still be a hit even if Cade is in. So I love this one. I think it's a really good play as our 4th and final pick of the video. And that's all we got. 4 plays for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the last thing that I'll mention is the last thing I mention at the end of every video is that I do have a dub club where I send plays out. It's only $5 a month. And the way it works is all the plays that you see me give out for free on YouTube and on Twitter, I first send them out on Dub Club. If you're unfamiliar, Dub Club is just a service you sign up for to have plays texted to you, sent directly to your phone, text, telegram, email. And the way it works is, as soon as I decide what a play is, the first thing I do is I send it out to the Dub Club. So the reason why I even have it is because not everybody cares about the YouTube videos. Not everybody has time to watch the YouTube videos, or by the time you watch this, the odds might have changed. Unfortunately, I can't help odds changing, but what I can help is giving out the plays immediately, which is why I created the Dub Club. So you're able to get picks in before the odds change. Cash with me there. $5 a month because I recognize you can get everything for free, but I just like to give people the option. If you would rather just stick to free picks, totally fine with me via YouTube and on Twitter. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.